Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, bandits attack Gago community in Katsina, kill 1, abduct 2. 5 seafood traders die in Ondo boat mishap. 3 policemen, 7 others arrested over suspected murder of 2 women in Adamawa. On the foreign scene, intense fighting in Sudan after 24-hour ceasefire ends. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for joining. Beginning with security matters. Bandit attacks on communities in Katsina State is resurfacing. The bandits attacked Gago village just 4 kilometers south of Dutsuma town, headquarters of Dutsuma local government area, killing 1 Kala Bosa, abducting 2 others. Abdullahi Amadi completes the story.
This is the 8th time terrorists are attacking Gago village within 3 months, abducting people for ransom, rustling domestic animals and looting shops. The bandits riding on motorcycles armed with AK-47 rifles unleashed mayhem on Gago community, killing their victim when he resisted being kidnapped.
The way I look at this issue of banditry is becoming rampant and is disheartening. The first time they entered, they were able to abduct 1 Alhaji Megeda, on which ransom has to be paid before they release him. The second time they came, there was 1 businessman called Alhaji Sada Gago, the one that is selling sewing materials. They abducted him and 1 Bogobri. They spent almost 3 to 4 weeks with the bandit. But before they release them, ransom has to be paid before they release them. And again, they carry another group of people. Still, ransom has to be paid before they release them. So eventually, this is the 8th time they are entering this village. So honestly speaking, enough is enough.
The whereabouts of the 2 kidnapped victims is unknown, as their abductors are yet to make demands to the villagers. I want to appeal to the new administration of Diko Umarana to come to our rescue. This village has been coming under terrorist attacks. In fact, this is the 8th in the series of attacks. Many of our women and girls have been raped, several others abducted, and ransom paid for them to regain their freedom. We are tired. Residents are, however, hopeful that government will deploy security operatives to the areas to reduce the frequency of the attacks and enable them concentrate on their farming activities. In recent time, there have been reports of pockets of attacks on some communities of Faskari, Jibia, Bazari, Kankara, Funtua, Dandumi, and Sabo local government areas. Security agencies in Katsina State are yet to comment on the latest attack. Abdullahi Ismail Amadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Police in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, said a suspected informant and logistics supplier to a kidnapping and banditry group has been arrested. The police public relations officer in the FCT, SP Josephine Day, in a statement on Sunday, said the suspect arrested by the anti-kidnapping unit at the Mongoro Forest had been on the wanted list of the command. According to her, exhibits recovered from the suspect include 1 AK-47 rifle, AK-47 ammunition, 1 mobile phone, foodstuffs, and an unregistered Boxer motorcycle. In a related development, they said that the command had arrested 11 suspects over illegal possession, fabrication and production of small arms and light weapons, armed robbery, and other criminal offenses. The suspects were intercepted and arrested in the Zuba area of the FCT by operatives of the State Intelligence Bureau. Operatives from Otako Divisional Police Headquarters had on Wednesday also arrested 8 suspects over armed robbery at one Amala Garden in Otako. Now, typhoid is a bacterial disease contracted through contaminated food or water, causing severe fever in the human body. A health practitioner warned people to avoid drinking water from ponds or any unhealthy source to avoid contracting the disease. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail speaks to a health expert and resident in Gombe on the causes and preventive measures against typhoid fever. The report.
Health experts say typhoid fever is caused by bacteria found in contaminated food or water, causing severe fever. A public health officer from the Federal Teaching Hospital Gombe, Abu Baida Muazu, speaks on the causes and symptoms of typhoid.
It affects the part of the body that deals with digestion, that entails the stomach, the intestines, and what have you. It results into fever, as it is caused, that is rise in body temperature, some symptoms that look like malaria symptoms, which includes weakness of the body, vomiting sometimes, and watery stool in some instances, and very high body temperature.
On preventive measures against typhoid fever and other bacterial diseases, the public health expert advised people to avoid drinking water from ponds and other contaminated sources, especially in this rainy season. But the question is, are people aware of what to do to prevent themselves against typhoid and other food or waterborne disease? The preventive measures I used to apply against some diseases like typhoid and malaria is that I used to sanitize my environment. Wash your hands before eating and make sure that your food is clean. By doing so, you can eliminate diseases such as typhoid, malaria, and the rest. I wash my hands after coming out from the toilet, wash my hands before eating, and also wash some fruits before taking them.
If the source of water is suspicious, then we advise that people should go into boiling to sterilize the water. Boil locally, you just use simple boiling, and then keep in a place where there will be no recontamination. People should avoid drinking water from the ponds or water from the streams. Stagnant waters should be avoided. If it becomes necessary, then filtration and boiling should go into that.
According to the World Health Organization, WHO, as of 2019, an estimated 9 million people suffer from typhoid and 110,000 people die from it annually. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Kano State government has resumed demolition of structures built on public places that were allegedly sold out by the immediate past administration of Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. This is coming barely a few days after 2 former governors of the state, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso and Ganduje, were involved in a heated exchange over the demolitions. Now, the duo had visited President Bola Tinubu on Friday, and the issue of the demolition was raised. In the early hours of Sunday, the demolition continued, and according to the list, buildings to be demolished were shops built by the fence of the Sani Abacha Stadium at Kofar Mata, GSS Kofar Nasarawa facing IBB Road, and buildings by GGSS Dukawia Gorondutse. The coast is now clear for Tajuddin Abbas and Benjamin Kalu to emerge as Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives on Tuesday, when the National Assembly will be inaugurated. This follows withdrawal of two contenders for the speakership, Aliyu Betara and Yusuf Gagdi. The duo agreed to step down after a meeting with President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima in the presidential villa on Sunday.
Accepted to step down and endorse the candidature of Honorable Tajudeen Abbas for the speakership of the Federal House of Representatives. The President was quite touched by their gesture because what binds us together is superior to whatever that divides us. We are one big APC family, and together we shall cross the Rubicon on Tuesday. We cannot thank them enough for their graciousness, and I want to commend the roles played by the Chief of Staff, Mr. President, by His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Niger State, by the leadership of the party, here represented by the Deputy National Chairman, North. I think our party members will keep a sigh of relief.
Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State has sworn in interim transition committee chairpersons for 17 local government areas at the government house in Jos. The governor, represented by his deputy Josephine Pio during the ceremony, said that the exercise was necessary to ensure that no vacuum existed in his administration. Ado Musa completes the story.
The swearing in the caretaker chairman came after Governor Mutfwang suspended the elected chairman of the local government councils 3 days after his assumption of office, following the recommendation of the Plateau House of Assembly. According to the governor, the suspension followed their alleged inability to produce documents related to financial transactions in the various local governments. While administering the oath of office, the deputy governor says the suspension of the chairman became necessary to give way for investigation, adding that in order not to allow vacuum at the local government councils, the government has to appoint the interim chairpersons.
This was based on the inability of the chairman to produce certain documents that had to do with financial transactions at their local government councils.
The governor also directed the new chairman to cooperate with the State House of Assembly in providing all documents needed for investigation of the alleged misappropriation by the suspended chairman.
To give way to efficient and proper investigation, it has become imperative to suspend not only the executive structure of the local government council, but also the legislative structure.
The suspended chairman has soon after their suspension insisted that the governor has no right to suspend them, adding that they are still the chairman of their respective local government areas. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
A political group has warned the ruling APC that excluding North Central in the composition of the 10th Assembly will not augur well for the party. The group that calls itself APC Voice of Progressives Youth told journalists in Kaduna that lack of fairness shown to the North Central, if not addressed, will spell doom for the party. The report.
The ruling APC has zoned the position of the President of the Senate to the South-South zone, while the Northwest is to produce the Deputy Senate President. It also zoned the position of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker to the Northwest and Southeast. Even the party is facing stiff competition from other political parties in the lower chamber of the Assembly. The group said APC's performance in the North Central at the last election outweighs the party's vote in the Northwest, and yet the zone is given the slot of speakership and the Deputy Senate in the 10th National Assembly election, neglecting North Central.
We have been following with keen interest how the Northwest has been given two positions, Speaker and Deputy Senate Presidents, despite their poor performance at the 2023 presidential election. delivering only 2 states from the zone. That is Jigawa and Zamfara State to APC out of the 7 states in the Northwest zone, which shows clear favorism and bias.
While cautioning the party to be fair in the composition of the 10th Assembly, the group said neglecting the zone in the leadership of the 10th Assembly will not augur well for the party.
The composition of the National Assembly without the North Central is going to be a serious miscalculation and a political blunder for both government and the party. Therefore, at this juncture, we are advising Mr. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to use his political skills and dexterity to balance the equation by including the North Central and making sure that no zone is left out in the sharing of position in the National Assembly leadership.
Candidates seeking for the leadership position in the 10th Assembly are busy lobbying and conversing for support from members-elect and other stakeholders. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Meanwhile, ahead of the Tuesday's inauguration of the 10th Assembly, Nigerians are commenting the selection process that will produce leadership of the Assembly. In Makurdi, politicians and public affairs commentators expressed divergent views on the leadership selection process. Jimmy Azande reports.
Politicians in Makurdi are of the opinion that the supremacy of the party should be respected on zoning decisions, even though many argue that the lawmakers should be allowed to elect their leaders.
As a member of a political party, which is the APC, the party has sat and decided to zone some of the key positions for the National Assembly to various geopolitical zones. And based on the calculations of the party, they have zoned the seat of the Senate presidency to the South-South, and that of the deputy to the Northwest. In the aspect of the speaker, they have zoned the speakership to Northwest, and they have mentioned somebody that they are willing to occupy the position.
But the political scientist holds a contrary view, saying the business of leadership selection should be left to the lawmakers upon inauguration.
The fact that a political party puts you as a candidate, fits you as a candidate for a particular position, does not mean you can mingle or you can swing into the constitutional arrangement of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is quite right that APC have given in all it takes to provide governance, to provide leadership for all Nigerians. But honestly speaking, if leadership starts at this stage by a political party trying to venture into the legislative arms of governance, it means there is going to be a problem.
The two also set a common agenda for the legislators, who will begin the legislative process Tuesday.
And my advice to them is, they are not going there for their personal use. They are going there to make sure that our country, Nigeria, is back to its normalcy. I heard the president on Friday explaining that Nigeria is no longer a Father Christmas to neighboring country. So we are going to reclaim our Nigeria back, and the people of Nigeria will enjoy their citizenship.
I'm expecting that the 10th National Assembly should look at some of the key issues that Nigerians are willing to observe. There is a lot of poverty in the nation. They should target squarely on the welfare of Nigerians. Nigerian welfare is not taken into consideration for the past. We need the 10th National Assembly to look at the welfare of Nigeria. Workers are dying. What are the issues that can make workers smile?
It is left to be seen what plays out Tuesday, whether members will respect APC's zoning arrangement or not.
Former Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike wants local government chairmen in the state to support President Bola Tinubu and his successor, Siminalayi Fubara, to chart a better course for the country. Wike spoke when he received the 23 local government council chairmen of Rivers State in his country home in Port Harcourt. The report.
Former Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike wants local government chairmen in the state to support President Bola Tinubu and his successor, Siminalayi Fubara, to chart a better course for the country. Wike spoke when he received the 23 local government council chairmen of Rivers State in his country home, Rumwe Kwirikom, Port Harcourt. The former governor said unlike the former administration, the federal government led by President Tinubu will not be hostile but friendly to Rivers State. Wike said he would not hesitate to ensure that Senator Godswill Akpabio and Tajuddin Abbas emerge Senate President and Speaker for the 10th National Assembly as endorsed by the ruling All Progressives Congress leadership.
You don't need to be liked. I've told people support for the unity of Nigeria. And the unity of Nigeria, the South side, should produce the Senate
The former governor, who credited some of the successes he achieved in office to the support he got from the different local governments, urged them to also give Governor Siminalayi Fubara their unalloyed loyalty and support.
Support, not 99.1, 100% support.
Speaking during the visit, the leader of the delegation and mayor of Port Harcourt, Allwell Ihunda, explained that the visit was at the instance of the chairman to affirm their political loyalty and commitment to his direction.
Our governor, His Excellency Siminalayi Fubara, GSSRS, the governor of Rivers State, that we're going to give him the same 100% support that we give to you. That at any point in time we are called upon as council chairman, always count on us and also count on our loyalty and our support.
Nyesom Wike, though a PDP chieftain, has been hobnobbing with the ruling APC, fueling insinuation that he is planning to defect to the ruling party to secure a ministerial appointment.
The candidate of the African Action Congress in the November 11th governorship election in Kogi State, Austin Agwa Chimugu, has enjoined the electorate to rise up in unison and bring the state back to its enviable position of the past. The AAC candidate disclosed this in Lokoja at the weekend while addressing the stakeholders and supporters of the party during his official unveiling ceremony at the as the flag bearer of the party in Lokoja. Achimugu said he has what it takes to revamp the ailing Kogi economy if elected as the governor of the state come November 2023. The AAC standard bearer, who was unveiled alongside his running mate Deji Bamidele, said that the state has been ripped off of its prosperity and there is urgent need to take it back from the hands of its plunderers to join the committee of great states in the country. Now, tragedy occurred at the weekend as 5 seafood traders lost their lives in a boat mishap in Ilaje local government area of Ondo State. Reports say that the deceased were in transit on the waterways to a local market in Ugbonla, one of the coastal communities in Ilaje local government area, to get seafood when their boat capsized. Confirming the incident on Sunday, the national president of the Ondo State Fishermen Association of Nigeria, Arioe Gbaisemore, said 6 traders were involved in the mishap, but only 1 was rescued. Gbaisemore noted that the remaining 5 will have been rescued if they had used life jackets during their trip. He calls on the state government to urgently put in place stringent measures that will mandate the use of life jackets by commuters on waterways. You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at a recipe for tackling unemployment monster. Details and more after the break. Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Treated a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back. You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Now let's take a look at the top stories again. Bandits attack Gago community in Katsina, kill 1, abduct 2. 5 seafood traders die in Ondo boat mishap. In other news, 3 policemen and 7 other residents of Roma community of Dumne in Song local government area of Adamawa State are in police custody for alleged killing of 2 women over alleged witchcraft. A statement by the image maker of the Adamawa State Police Command, SP Suleimanu Goroje, said that the police will ensure that those accused of the killing over alleged witchcraft are diligently prosecuted. The women were stripped naked and beaten mercilessly by a mob because of the allegation of witchcraft leading to their death. Commissioner of Police Afolabi Babatola, who expressed shock over the unprofessional conduct displayed by his men, deployed the Deputy Commissioner of Police to arrest those accused of maltreating and assaulting the women. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have uncovered a secret laboratory producing deadly illicit substance, methamphetamine, in Ikeja, Lagos State. A statement signed by Femi Babafemi, NDLEA Director, Media and Publicity, said that the clandestine laboratory located at number 4 Bode Oluwo Street, Mende, Maryland, Ikeja, was stormed by anti-narcotics officers of the agency on Tuesday after a tip-off. At the end of the search, 1 kilogram of already produced and packaged methamphetamine, quantities of precursor chemicals and other items were recovered. The statement said that efforts are on to apprehend the fleeing owner of the house. About 3,000 Katsina State pilgrims have arrived the holy cities of Mecca and Medina ahead of this year's Hajj. Abdullahi Ahmadi reports that the headquarters of Katsina State Pilgrims Welfare Board is now a beehive of activities since the commencement of the 2023 Hajj operations. The report.
At the moment, the 6th flight of intended pilgrims from Katsina State is expected this Saturday evening. The remaining 2,000 intended pilgrims from the state are to be airlifted before the 15th of this month.
We had some few days without airlift because of this issue of visa. But as at now, we are able to overcome this visa problem, inshallah. So, as usual, we normally request the pilgrims to be patient and follow all due procedures. They should follow the rules and regulations both here in Nigeria and in the Saudi Arabian authorities, so that they can always be conducting themselves according to the provisions of the law.
Delay in distribution of basic traveling allowance to the intended pilgrims by banks is, however, a challenge.
Like our own yellow cards and maybe the collections of BTA, you know, the distribution used to take time. Yeah. That's why as soon as we are done with the passport, after scanning the passport, then the next step is distribution of BTA. So we used to call the bank's officials to come for that distribution, because this distribution is taking time. Like you are seeing now, the whole pilgrims are here. We are waiting for the BTA.
Traders and other vendors who deal in things needed by the intended pilgrims are making a brisk business. Most of the intended pilgrims interviewed commended the resilience and commitment of the officials of the Katsina State Pilgrims Welfare Board in ensuring age-free 2023 Hajj operations. Abdullahi Ismail Ahmadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Some Lagos residents say rising unemployment in the country can be halted if government and the private sector employ graduates based on skills, competence, and not based on connection. Victoria Tokolo speaks to the residents on ways to stimulate economic growth.
Rising inflation and poverty level are said to be worsening with dwindling economic fortunes in the country. To curb this, some Lagos residents recommend a deliberate recruitment policy in both public and private organizations that give preference to skills, competence, and merits.
Graduates can actually defend their certificates, or not that they don't know what they went to do in school. But basically, our companies nowadays, they don't employ you based on your certificates. They don't employ you based on what you have upstairs. They employ you based on, this my man knows the MD. This my man knows the director of the company. This my man knows the HR of the company. So that's how they employ nowadays, not based on what you have upstairs.
Affecting the unemployment in Nigeria is corruption. You can say it's corruption. Our leaders will have failures, so the system is bastardized. So that's the real reason. Because in a system, an economy that is working very well, the government have to lay more emphasis on developments. I mean, and the foreign investor will enter. But now that we have political crisis, a lot of foreign investors that we have in Nigeria, many of them are closing up, they are shutting down, they are leaving our country to another country.
Graduates who may have completed the mandatory National Youth Service (NYSC) find it difficult to get job placement owing to the saturation in the labor market. Residents want the new government to come up with innovation that will address this.
If government should create job, factories, manufacturing companies, I think this will go down. I know we cannot be all employee or employed. Some should go for business or any other ideas.
Yes, the Nigerian government should actually create job opportunity for graduates in the country to be able to gain fully employed after graduating from school. Yes, I also believe that recruitment of staff or employment of graduates should be based on qualification, because it has become a trending situation in the country whereby the recruitment, the employment they are giving is based on who you know.
He said that addressing unemployment among youth is recipe for political stability and economic growth.
The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has appealed to governments at all subnational level to ensure prompt implementation of child rights law so as to curb the menace of child abuse. UNICEF also charged the media to raise awareness on Child Rights Law 2023 among Nigerians. The report.
Children are individual human beings totally dependent on adults. The children's right to survival, development and protection are crucial for their development and the country's as well. While the Child Rights Convention was adopted in year 1989, the African Union Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Children was adopted in 1990. Nigerians ratified the Child Rights Convention in 1991 and ratified the African Union Charter in year 2001. However, in spite of the provisions of Child Rights Convention and the African Union Charter on Rights and Welfare of the Child, children in Nigeria continue to experience abuse of different forms, and perpetrators often go scot-free.
You know, the laws will help, but first of all, most of these laws need to be revisited. You know, need to be really looked into, especially by the legislative arms.
The cost of inaction in fulfilling children's rights are huge. For instance, in year 2016, the cost of inaction on child protection cost Nigeria 1.6 trillion naira.
Implement the law. Put in structures, put in all the requirements that we need to ensure that the law is being implemented in your state so that children will be adequately protected.
It's everybody's responsibility at the community level, at state level, at ward level. We're not waiting for violations to happen. We should focus on prevention of violations.
Because if these things are not put out there, there's no way government can act. Government can actually sign policies, sign MOUs, but the implementation of it is where the problem lies, and that is where the media is very, very important.
The Child Rights Act, year 2003, enacted into law in Nigeria as enshrined in the Convention on the Rights of the Child and the African Union Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child, is expected to be domesticated across country to curtail indecencies of child abuse in Nigeria.
The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has filed a lawsuit against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu over the failure to probe allegations of missing fuel subsidy payments of $2.1 billion and 3.1 trillion naira between 2016 and 2019. In a statement on Sunday, Serap Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare said that the suit followed the grim allegations documented by the Auditor General of the Federation in the 2016 and 2019 annual reports that the public funds are missing. Serap is seeking an order of mandamus to direct and compel President Tinubu to promptly probe the allegations. Time to take a quick break. When we return, the news hour continues. Join us again.
That's right.
Welcome back. You're watching the news on Trust TV. Now, on the foreign scene, shelling and gunfire resumed on Sunday in the Sudanese capital after the end of a 24-hour ceasefire that had given civilians rare respite from nearly 2 months of war. Deadly fighting has raged in Sudan since mid-April when Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and his former deputy Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, who commands the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, turned on each other. The latest in a series of ceasefire agreements enabled civilians trapped in the capital, Khartoum, to venture outside and stock up on food and other essential supplies. But only 10 minutes after it ended at 6 a.m. on Sunday, the capital was rocked again by shelling and clashes. Heavy artillery fire was heard in Khartoum and its twin city, Omdurman, to the north, and fighting also erupted on Al-Hawa Street, a major artery in the south of the capital, they said. Multiple truces have been agreed and broken, including even after the United States had slapped sanctions on both rival generals after the previous attempt collapsed at the end of May. The 24-hour ceasefire that ended on Sunday morning had been announced by U.S. and Saudi mediators, who warned that if it failed, they may break off mediation efforts. A 5.0 magnitude earthquake on Sunday struck near Johannesburg, shaking buildings across South Africa's most populous province, the United States Geological Survey reported. The tremor struck at 2:38 a.m., around 10 kilometers below the surface, the USGS said. Buildings shook across the province of Gauteng, where Johannesburg, the country's largest city and commercial hub, is located. Residents across the province felt the tremor, and some posted pictures on social media showing minor structural damages to walls. In August 2014, a 5.3 magnitude earthquake hit a gold mining town near Johannesburg. The last major quake to hit South Africa was a 6.3 magnitude tremor that struck the Western Cape province in 1969. And in sports news, the Nigeria National League Super 8 playoffs will determine the 4 teams that will secure promotion to the Elite Nigeria Football League at the end of this season. The final day of the group stage matches held across the northern and southern conferences of Nigeria second-tier league was witnessed by a large turnout of fans. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim reports.
The group stage of the second-tier football league, Nigeria National League, wraps up this week with 7 out of 8 playoff slots already taken. Kano Pillars FC defeats Sokoto United by a lone goal to finish winners of Group A3. The final game of the group stage, which held at the Sani Abacha Stadium in Kano, was graced by football stakeholders who are eager to see Seima Sugida return to the Apex Football League in the country.
I'm very optimistic. In the past, Kano Pillars found themselves in this situation for almost 2 times, and this is the 3rd time. But by the grace of God, Kano Pillars will find themselves in the league that they're supposed to be.
Other teams from the NNL Northern Conference that secured qualification for the Super 8 playoff are EFCC FC of Abuja, DMD FC of Borno State, and Katsina United. The NNL Super 8 playoffs will determine the 4 teams that will secure promotion to the Elite Nigeria Football League.
That is the dream of every coach, and then it is a pledge I have made to the good people of Kano State. You know, Kano Pillars is the darling team of Kano State, and Kano indigenes are very passionate about good football. And I believe, all things being equal, Kano Pillars will pick one of the promotion tickets back to the Nigerian Premier League.
In the Southern Conference, FC One Rocket of Akwa Ibom State finished winners of Group B despite losing 2-1 to Warri Wolves on the final day. A 0-0 draw against Abia Comets was enough for Heartland FC of Imo State to win Group B4. Group B3 was won by Abeokuta Stormers Sporting Club. The winner of Group B2 will be decided on Wednesday as Sporting Lagos, Ijebu United and Crown FC of Ogbomoso battle for the last NNL Super 8 slot. Abdulaziz Ibrahim reporting for Trust TV.
Irish athlete Rasheedat Adeleke moved to 20th in the all-time list for the women's 400 meters as she won the National Collegiate Athletics Association title in the US. Adeleke smashed her own Irish record by 0.34 seconds in Texas by triumphing in 49.20 seconds. US star Britton Wilson was the strong favorite for the final, but had to settle for the second spot in 49.64. Adeleke's win saw her become the first Irish victor at the National Collegiate Athletics Association since 2006. Sligo athlete Mary Cullence's 5,000 meters triumph 17 years ago was the last time an Irish athlete had triumphed at the prestigious U.S. Collegiate Championships. Josh Taylor had the last of his world titles wrenched away as Teofimo Lopez outpointed him in New York to become the new WBO super lightweight champion. The squad has vacated 3 of his belts since a controversial defense against Jack Catterall 15 months ago and lost the 4th in a ferocious contest at Madison Square Garden. Now, American Lopez repelled the champion's strong start and ultimately dominated the fight to administer Taylor's first defeat in 20 professional bouts and become a 2-weight world champion. Still in sports news, UFC star Amanda Nunes has announced her retirement after a dominant win over Irene Aldana at UFC 289. The 35-year-old, widely regarded as the greatest ever women's mixed martial artist, is the only woman to have held 2 titles in the promotion. After her victory at the Rogers Arena in Vancouver, Canada, she laid down her 2 belts in the center of the canvas and announced it was her last fight. Nunes was in control of the bout throughout and defended her bantamweight title, winning by scores of 50-44, 50-44, and 50-43. Nunes' stellar career has spanned 15 years and 27 fights, including 2 of the most dominant title reigns in UFC history. Now, before we go, here is a kicker. The Kenya national women's rugby team is one of the continent's most successful squads. The Lionesses, managers and supporters are hoping that recent wins will, which include qualification for the Women's World Rugby 15's 3rd tier, will rally support for their campaign to push back against marginalization and neglect. Take a look.
Name of my store is Mao Carving Depot. I've been in the carving just since 1987. My family, they are from Carver. They are Carver. The apprentice I had has finished. I've done his freedom. He's now working on his own. Son had traveled out. So presently now, I don't have any as present. If anyone want to learn, I will bring him form. I will give him form to fill. He will fill form on the requirement I want from him. Then we bring it. Then so far he's serious in learning it. If he want to learn, he should be serious. I love the art because I love anything you can create, especially if it's create with wood. I have passion on it. I love it. Machine cannot carve wood for you, but because it's hand and chisel we use I use in learning chisel. Because if you use all these machine tools, the machines can't give you what you want. Can't give you what you want. That is why we are different from the white men, carving. That's our own is unique. Oh, there are different prices, so you know. Can charge you 10 naira if you say you have 3 naira. If I'm willing to do it, I do it for you. No, I cannot say this is your specific price. I'm using it, doing that for you. Where we got our wood is from sometimes in the sawmill. You go to sawmill, or you go to all those women that is bringing wood from the bush, like all those one that is bringing all those timber work, all those short timber work from bush. The charges the government is collecting from them is much higher. But we, the carvers, we are carving it, but no support, nothing. We know through them, government is still collecting that from that one or sustaining from us through that level, through that work we have. When customer buy, when they are traveling, taking it out, they always subcharge them. That is the complaint they always give. Assuming it's government that owns everything, if they subcharge like 50,000, 200,000, any amount, we don't have any say to say no.
And that wraps it up for the news hour tonight. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ila. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.